There's a day in your life when the phone stays silent, no one checks in, no one shows up, and you finally understand no one is coming, and somehow that's the day you begin. The loneliness of waiting to be rescued. We don't say it out loud, but many of us are waiting for someone to notice, to see through the smile, to hear the quiet, "I'm fine," and reply, "I know you're not." It started young, waiting in our rooms for someone to knock, waiting for love to read minds, waiting for help without asking. We were praised for being easy, so we learned to need quietly and hope loudly inside our heads. And the hardest truth, sometimes no one comes, not because they don't care, but because they don't see. And that silence, it hurts like a betrayal, but it isn't. It's just life. Unfair, unfiltered, undeniable life. The truth, you aren't owed rescue, and that's liberation. There's a subtle belief we carry that someone out there owes us a rescue, that one day someone will knock and say, "You don't have to do this alone anymore." I used to believe that too, but the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look." I didn't want to hear that. I wanted warmth, reassurance, a savior, but no one owed me that. And when I let go of that illusion, I stopped being bitter and started being real. I remember the exact day it happened. It was a gray Thursday, the kind of day where the clouds hang low but never cry. I was in my apartment, back against the wall, phone in hand, waiting for a message that wouldn't come. It wasn't a tragedy, just a slow silence from someone who used to check in and no longer did. I kept refreshing, staring at nothing, feeling disposable. Then, like a whisper cutting through fog, a thought came. No one is coming. And surprisingly, I didn't panic. I sat still, felt my chest rise and fall, and for once I didn't reach out. I reached in. The shift from passive to present. After that, I didn't become powerful. I became aware. I stood up, washed a glass, wiped the window with the sleeve of my hoodie, not because I had energy, but because I didn't want to abandon myself again. Then I noticed my plant, half dead, leaves drooping. I picked it up, gave it water, turned it toward the light, and maybe that's what I was doing for myself. I wasn't fixing. I was returning to the truth. If no one's coming to save me, then I will stay alive long enough to learn how to save myself. What Marcus Aurelius taught me that night. It was past midnight. The apartment was silent except for the soft ticking of the wall clock and the distant hum of the refrigerator. Outside, rain tapped gently against the window pane. The kind of rain that doesn't ask for attention, but somehow soaks through anyway. I sat at the edge of my bed, barefoot, with the small lamp casting a soft amber light across the room. Everything felt both too quiet and too loud at the same time, as if the silence itself had weight. On the nightstand lay a worn copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I picked it up without thinking. The way you reach for an anchor when the tide starts to rise inside you. Flipping through pages marked with old highlights and scribbles, My eyes landed on a line I must have seen before, but somehow never understood until now. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. I read it again and again. I had spent years thinking that pain was a blockade, that it stopped me from reaching peace. But now, in this quiet moment, Marcus offered me a different lens. Maybe pain wasn't the enemy. Maybe pain was the teacher. Maybe what I was running from was exactly where I was meant to begin. I thought being alone meant I had failed to be loved, failed to be understood. But now I saw it as something else. A chance to stand upright, to be whole, without leaning. I didn't need a grand plan, didn't need to figure out the rest of my life by morning. I just needed to stay with the next breath, the next honest step, the next choice that aligned with the person I was trying to become. Most of all, I had to stop waiting to feel ready, waiting to be rescued, waiting for life to finally make sense. I had to start witnessing, start showing up, start walking, even if my steps were small, even if the way ahead was foggy. That night, with nothing but a book, a storm, and a breath, Marcus Aurelius reminded me I wasn't stuck. I was being shown a new way forward. And it began exactly where I was. A small moment, a real beginning. That weekend, I did something quiet. I played an old song I used to love, let it play all the way through, then I journaled. Just one line. Maybe I was never meant to be rescued. Maybe I was meant to rise slowly, from within. No lightning, no applause, just stillness. But it felt enough, like the beginning of a life that didn't depend on who showed up, but on how I showed up for myself. I'm still waiting sometimes, but I'm no longer helpless. I won't lie. Some nights I still hope for the message, still glance at my phone, still feel the old ache rise. But now, I don't crumble in its absence. I make tea, light a candle, sit with the silence, like it's an old friend I no longer fear. I used to believe someone owed me saving, but no one does. And that's not cruelty, it's life. And life, unpredictable, unsentimental life, has taught me something beautiful. I am here, and that's enough. No one is coming, but you're already here. If you're still waiting for the call, the text, the shoulder, let this be it. You are the one, not because you're supposed to be, but because you already are. You are the breath in the silence, the warmth in the cold, the fire in your own dark room. No one is coming, but you've already arrived. If this felt like a truth you've avoided, or one you're finally ready to hear, like this video, subscribe to Bare Soul Notes, and share it with the one person who's been holding it together for too long. Because rescue doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it comes from the mirror.